All right, it is Sunday night. Holy cow.
Sunday
night service. We don't have any wine. Literally, here, cheers. Cheers to Fiji water and Whole Foods water.
Spring water.
I flew in. I literally got here at 2 seconds before he walked in the door here from a concert at Radnor Lake. Phil Vassar and friends. And so it was the first concert of the season. And so to support Radnor Lake. So that was great. And it's Sunday night service.
It's Sunday night. And we're going to have a beautiful time.
Talking about CBD oil, the endocannabinoid system and the amazing system that God put in our body, as well as made that incredible plant that has so many incredible healing constituents and all kinds of people. Hello, Lisa and Kathy and Amy Muncie. Amy, I'm coming down to Greenville next month. I'm going to be there 4 days in July. So I'm going to see you when I get there. As soon as you guys get logged on, hit your like buttons and your hearts and all of that good stuff and tell us where you're from. But we're gonna get right into this because he has to go to a concert.
Well,
It's just been a busy day. I got up at 4 a.m. in Tallahassee and flew here. I didn't fly, I drove, but I drove fast, trying to get here in time to go to that concert at 3 at Radnor, and then that was until 6:30, and then got here. It's crazy.
You drove from Tallahassee
this morning.
Good.
No, it has been crazy. I have not stopped. And I stink. I smell. There's been no shower.
I thought you flew.
No. I drove.
Good. Great.
Yeah, it has been really busy. So, and I knew we had to do this tonight. So, and I ran out of ink and I had to go to the office and I got here. Well, anyway, whatever.
Wow.
CBD oil. Who has used CBD oil? Oh, we've got people from Haiti on here. Hey, Rihanna. Robbie's on here. Who has used CBD oil? Hit your heart button if you've used CBD oil. We're talking CBD, not marijuana tonight, only CBD, and the history of it, which is fascinating. Dates back to millennia, thousands of years, 10,000 years ago. I mean, we've got it dated back to, cannabis has been used as medicine, 2900 BC, the Chinese emperor. The Chinese emperor used it as medicine. He said it contained both yin and yang. Oh yeah, I knew you would love that. Let's see here. In 1213 BC, the Egyptians used it for glaucoma and inflammation.
Oh, wow.
Okay. 700 BC, it's been documented it used to be used in Persia. 200 BC, the ancient Greece used it for inflammation, right? In 1762, the farming of hemp was required by law, actually, in Virginia.
No.
Yes, and hemp is just so incredible. I mean, we've used it for millennia for ropes and flags and clothing and ship things and all kinds of things. I mean, hemp has been around forever, right? Do you know that President George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and many others grew hemp and used hemp? Yes, and it's well documented. In 1942, there was a film called The Hemp for Victory to support the war effort, and it encouraged growing hemp.
Oh, wow.
Right? It is extremely safe. Hemp is very safe. It's been used as an analgesic, right? As a sedative, as an antispasmodic. So, stopping cramps and things like that. Anticonvulsant, stopping seizures, anti-inflammatory. Actually, back in, in the 1930s, 1850 to like 1937 or so, it was used by Eli Lilly, Wyeth Park Davis, Sharp and Dome. Many pharmaceuticals had it in their formulas as neuroprotectants and antioxidants. Oh, wow. I mean, hemp has been around for a long time. From 1850 to 1942, cannabis was included in the U.S. pharmacopoeia as a treatment for neuralgia, alcoholism, opiate addiction. Where are we right now with the opiate addiction? How many tens of thousands of people die every year from the opiate addiction? Convulsive disorders, infectious disease, insanity. I don't know what that means. And many
we need
other,
a lot of that.
Oh yeah, I could use some of that. I think I'll have some right now.
That's
by the
right.
way. I'm going to use my cannabis, my hemp oil, my CBD right now. Oh yeah, I need some. I could use that. You want some? Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, put some in there. All right, so it's been used for thousands and thousands of years. And tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of the history. What is it? How does it differ from marijuana? Right? So we'll get right into that one. So you know, I'm sure you know this, both marijuana and hemp belong to the cannabis family, right? It's cannabis sativa, right, that we use. Cannabis is tall and sturdy. It's used for textiles, oils, fabrics, things like that, ropes, things like that. Cannabis was bred with other types of plants that were similar, and that led to hemp.
Ooh, okay. That's what.
So, correct. So, tetrahydrocannabinol, right? THC is the chemical responsible for the psychoactive effects of marijuana, right?
When you get high.
When you get high, that's exactly right. Hemp contains lower levels of THC, higher levels of CBD. Okay?
Gotcha.
Marijuana contains higher levels of THC and lower levels of CBD. All right? So they both contain these cannabinoids, but CBD is the most famous. You know, you've got tetrahydrocannabinol, and then you have CBD. CBD is the most abundant. I'm
the
clearly
THC
not the
has a
most
lower
famous.
amount on most of those plants.
That's exactly right. Right?
Yes.
So medical marijuana's THC content is between 5 and 20%. 5 and 20%. All right. More for prized strains, and I have no clue what prized strains mean. I don't even know what this means. I've smoked pot one time in my life, so I don't. It was legal in Colorado when I did it. So, and I was 49 years old, and it was amazing.
Was it amazing?
Oh my gosh, Lord, yes, I loved it. But I don't do it. So I don't do it. So because it's not legal here.
Yeah.
But I did, and I thought it was fabulous.
Oh.
So I don't know I must have had a prize strain because it was amazing what I had. Hemp. Okay. So marijuana can have anywhere between 5 and 20%, right, of THC. Hemp has a strict limit of 0.3%, right?
Wow.
THC.
Gotcha.
So it's non-psychoactive. It is legal in all 50 states. And we're going to talk about the legalities because there's some nuances to this actually. So, hemp contains more CBD, less THC. Don't forget that, right? Apparently, marijuana is grown in a controlled environment. I didn't know this, but hemp is generally grown outside. It's very tall and sturdy and thick and all of that good stuff, right?
And it can survive a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've heard, like, even when we're talking about the industrial component, I did read a report on a side note that hemp was so strong and grown so well and used for, like you said, fabrics and connection and ropes and all that stuff, that even they say that DuPont was sort of against hemp production. They had a big hand in like trying to make it kind of illegal because hemp was used so much that it sort of threatened some of their industry. Oh yeah.
Well, I listened to hours and hours and hours of YouTube, 6.5 hours, probably about 30 minutes. I didn't listen on the way on all of this today, driving in, and I mean, this is a big conspiracy.
It is. It's quite a big thing.
Oh yeah, to block this, and it's still there. I mean, it's still there.
And they still have control over it. Yeah.
So, what is a cannabinoid? Right? What is a cannabinoid? Can you even say cannabinoid? CANNABINOID, right? So, cannabinoids are a class of diverse chemicals, right? That act on cannabinoid receptors in cells that alter the neurotransmitter releases in the brain. We have 3 types of cannabinoids. We have the phytocannabinoids, right, which are the plant form of it, right? Phyto, those are the plant forms. And what the research shows on that is they interact with the cannabinoid receptors of the endocannabinoid system, right, to elicit chemical responses that help bring homeostasis. So we know that the endocannabinoid system is responsible for keeping homeostasis in our body, right?
So everything keeps balanced.
When everything is balanced, then we are in homeostasis. But when we get out of balance, that's when they think that the endocannabinoid system goes a little AWOL, right? And we're lacking in cannabinoids, right?
Exactly.
It's fascinating. So we have the phytocannabinoid, and then we have the endocannabinoids, and those are the internal, right? endocannabinoids in our body. Those are the ones that God put in our body. And we're going to talk about where he put those receptors.
Gotcha. Yes.
And then we have the synthetic cannabinoids, right? Which they are right now. There's a pharmaceutical company working on creating a synthetic cannabinoid.
Okay.
Yes. But the thing is, it's not going to be like the endocannabinoids, right? It can't, because they can't use all the constituents to make a synthetic. They'll pull out one constituent, and it will not be a full spectrum cannabinoid.
Yes. When she talks about receptors, remember, we're talking about small little keyholes on each cell membrane, and cannabinoids can attach to that receptor. I'm just like, and phytocannabinoids that, go ahead. We're going to talk about the receptors later.
We are.
Where they're at.
So we have two main receptors. It's perfect timing. We have the CB1, which is in the brain. Okay. CB1 receptors are in the brain. CB2 they're in the periphery, right? And they help control inflammation and pain in your body, right?
Inflammation and pain.
We believe that cannabinoid receptors actually in our body are the most abundant receptors in the human body, are cannabinoid receptors. That's what they believe.
So you're saying that
they're the most abundant of all receptors in our body.
Gotcha. So like most cells have that on there.
Yes, most cells, except there's one area that God did not put an endocannabinoid receptor.
Where's that?
The medulla oblongata. You know what that controls? One area. There's one area of the body.
It is a lot. Yeah,
it controls respiration.
Oh, wow.
So when we were designed all these millions of years ago, he did not put receptors on the brainstem, which controls respiration, right? So what that means, people, is we're not going to overdose. You will not overdose on cannabinoids. Yeah. You can't.
Because they enhance.
But you can overdose on opioids, but you don't on cannabinoids. Isn't that something?
If it
don't you think he knew what was going on?
Exactly. If you're maintaining homeostasis, if you upregulate or you take so much of it, all you're doing is creating more balance. So I don't see how you could overdo it.
That's right. Yeah. So a deficiency in the endocannabinoids in our body has been linked to migraine headaches, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel syndrome. So we have that whole endocannabinoid system. It's responsible for releasing neurotransmitters, so that diseases that are attributed to their dysfunction, such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, right? All of these may be related to a deficiency or a dysfunction in the endocannabinoid system. That's the theory. And they're still working on research on that, but a deficiency in the endocannabinoid system can be directly linked to all of these neurological problems that we have, right? Because the bulk of these receptors are in the brain.
So you're saying that cannabinoids, when they come into the system, they're already in the system. When you take CBD, these cannabinoids almost act like a major master key, like it connects everything, because you're saying inflammation, the nervous system, the immune response is all regulated with cannabinoids, and you're saying that it connects all of it together.
Yes.
So if you regulate this one thing or feed yourself, then it'll connect everything else.
Yes, okay. Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
That's so good. Something? That's so crazy. So good.
Our body is so unbelievably amazing. And we've got something here and as you use it, you're going to saturate those receptors, and it's going to bring your body back into homeostasis. So they say, you don't need to use a tremendous amount of it all the time. Once you get your receptors saturated, because we make endocannabinoids. Yes. So once you give your body what it needs, we're born in balance pretty much. Now we know that these kids are born all out of whack with, toxins in the umbilical cord, etc. But, we're pretty much born in balance. In balance, not imbalanced. But once you give your body these endocannabinoids over there, phytocannabinoids, we begin to get our endocannabinoid system back into balance. Yes. It's fascinating. They saturate those receptors.
And with saturating the receptors, what we're saying, it's almost, again, like giving you food. So instead of us having to give you something like you say, to fight off inflammation, or a specific thing to fight off infections, that we're able to give your body just fuel so it actually reminds your body, or it does it itself. Instead of us having to give you so many things, that you give yourself just an overall, heightened pill, not a pill, but liquid that actually turns on the system and allows you to do everything on its own. So it's like innate intelligence, right? It's like the innate immune system, the innate body that's like literally directing everything. So it's almost like a drop here, let the body do its own thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let your body do its own thing, because it will know what to do with it.
How many drops? Everybody's asking how many drops.
Well, we're going to get into that. That's going to be at the very end. I've got that down because it's different for everybody.
Yes.
It's different. And you've got different dosing and all of that, and et cetera. But is it legal? That's the big question. Dani, is it legal? Dani, am I going to get in trouble? No, you're not going to get in trouble. It is legal in all 50 states as of 2014, right? In 2014, President Obama signed into law the Agriculture Act of 2014. It was Section 7606. Immediately, it legalized industrial hemp, right? And which is completely distinct from marijuana, right? The plant is deemed legal if it is under 0.3% THC. Okay. 0.3%. It makes all products made from that source are legal as well, as long as it's under 0.3% THC, right? So CBD oil is sourced from hemp. It's legal across the United States as a dietary supplement. But there are some nuances here, and I pulled out some things today. It is, let's see, it's legal. Tennessee passed legislation in May of 2017 that reaffirmed the federal guidelines regarding industrial agricultural hemp. Agricultural hemp, all right? In 2017, the DEA also affirmed that CBD is not a controlled substance. Okay? Now, as of 2018, there are 8 states to where the cannabis plant, including both marijuana and hemp, are completely legal for recreational and medicinal use. Do you know those 8 states?
I would say.
It may be more. I don't know. This was just as I was.
I would say, of course, Oregon, California, Colorado, maybe Nevada. What is Indiana? No, Indiana's not one of them.
No, Indiana's a problem state, actually.
New Mexico,
Alaska, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington State.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay? But now listen, it's interesting. There are, I think, 7 or 8, Idaho, Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota. You better watch it out there, because even though it is legal in all 50 states, these states, their laws are still a little unclear. But it is legal. It is a federal law that it is legal. But they've got some sketchy things going on in their state.
So
not sketchy.
It's not very clear there.
It's not very clear there. No, it's kind of like Rutherford County in Tennessee over here, So they'll shut you down in a heartbeat if you're selling gummies, CBD gummies for your dog or for whatever. But okay, it's really fascinating. So, but it is legal. It is legal. Tennessee, it is legal in Tennessee. Kentucky, where we get our hemp from, our CBD oil, Earth's Glory. Kentucky's the leader in hemp research. Did you know that? My hometown, my home state.
Really? I heard that University of Kentucky is very big about the research about what they do with the companies they use. Yeah.
So it is legal. Did you know that the United States government, the federal government, owns the patent on cannabinoids?
They own a patent in a heartbeat.
Right here. Yeah. October 7th, 2003. This is patent number 6630507. And if you type that hashtag in, 6630507, it pops up a million different things. As of October 7th, 2003, the federal government, the U.S. Department of, good gosh, I'm going blind, Health and Human Services patented endocannabinoids as antioxidants and neuroprotectants.
And they
have the patent on it.
Yeah.
They know how protective these are, and they know what a powerful antioxidant. And we're going to talk about all the constituents of true cannabis, have all the great, amazing things from omega-3s and 6s and vitamin A's and all that. Yes, they have the patent on it. So it's fascinating to me because you're not supposed to be able to patent something that came from the earth.
We
right?
all
Something
know
that
how
God
many
made.
things that the U.S. government patents. Check out how many seeds they've patented and how much of hybrid plants they've patented. And I think many of you already know that, but.
Well, let me tell you something. So there's been a tremendous amount of research on CBD, on cannabinoids, a tremendous amount of research. And there's preclinical and there's clinical research going on. There's a lot of animal studies going on, more so in other countries than the United States. But there are studies going on in the United States for sure. If you there are studies going on for anti-seizure, right? The anti-seizure effects of cannabinoids completely eliminate or decrease frequency of seizures. It's unbelievable, which is really how it came to the forefront in the United States, right? With Charlotte, little baby Charlotte. That's how Charlotte's Web, the big company out there came to be, when she was having hundreds of seizures a day in Colorado. And the only thing that worked was CBD oil. That's something.
It's so great. And they're a great company too.
They are a good company.
I watched a documentary the other day about a man. He was out in Switzerland and they showed him just shaking. And I mean, and they showed him smoking a joint. And I mean, within like 4 minutes, the guy could talk normal and everything. It was really great.
Isn't that something?
Really cool.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of research too going on that CBD is phenomenal. CBD is excellent. But there are certain things to where a tiny bit, a little bit more than the 0.3% THC added in, even makes it a little bit more THC, a little bit more CBD. They work synergistically together and they tend to work even better for some things. And cancer research is one of those to where you have a higher THC content in it. It seems to work better with more THC. Still works beautiful with 0.3.
But they still say it infects more when you have just a bit.
Correct. Well, it causes cancer cells to go into apoptosis, so kill themselves. Yeah. Basically, it kills cancer cells.
Cells, and they still regulate it.
Okay, so it's neuroprotective. It's anti-inflammatory. We know the benefits of cannabinoids on inflammation, on joint pain, on chronic pain. It works for pain, just pain in general, but it really shines for chronic pain. For chronic, unbelievable back pain, arthritis pain, beat up in the NFL pain, all of that pain.
Yep. It alters the nociceptors, the pain receptors in your body. It alters them so they're not less reactive. So the smallest amount of pressure, the smallest amount of touch doesn't elicit a huge pain response. But I mean, who would not rather do CBD oil? I mean, instead of like taking an opiate. And I think that like even patients, have you had them? They rub on top of the joints too.
Oh, I do. I rub it on me because if I cheat and I eat cheese, my hands right here hurt, and I literally take it just like this, and I put it right here on my, see that? Just like that.
Rub it in
and
there.
I rub it in. I cheated in Tallahassee this week. I ate a hot dog for my cousin who died. She loved hot dogs. And I put it just like this. And literally within 5 minutes, the pain goes away.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fascinating. If you have a migraine headache, put it right here or wherever your migraine is. It could be in the very back or what have you. Okay. So neuro stuff, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, neurodegeneration caused by alcohol abuse, right? Yes. These are all ongoing preclinical or clinical studies right now. Analgesic effects. It works on the central and peripheral neuropathy. We talked about that. Pain, rheumatoid arthritis, and pain from cancer as well. Anti-tumors. It's an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. Substance abuse disorders. Studies going on with that. It reduced the rewarding effects of morphine and reduced cue-induced heroin seeking.
Wow, that would be one of the
Wouldn't
biggest
that be
things
something?
That I would say that'd be the best benefit. Yeah.
Anti-anxiety. Let me tell you, this shines with my patients for anti-anxiety. If you and I listened to a lot of talks today on anxiety and CBD. Right, so it reduces behavioral and psychological measures of stress and anxiety. I mean, my patients, sometimes they get anxious, they put it literally right here over the heart when they start their hearts start beating like this.
Oh, wow.
I use it at night when I go to bed. It helps with insomnia.
I used to take, especially when I had Lyme infection, I would take, when they were talking about drops, we'll get into that in just a bit, but I remember starting off slow.
Yes.
Then I knew that as I built up, the people told me like you can build up, and I could tell that my nutrients, my vitamins absorbed better.
Yeah.
I could just tell. I mean, and at night it was almost so good that it was like in the morning, I was like, I don't need coffee. I just want this every morning. But
but it's okay. Because,
it's okay. It's
great
it's not
addicting.
Yeah.
It's non-addicting. So we have receptors on every area in our body, right? For cannabinoids, except the brainstem, right? We don't have them there. The part that controls respiration. But who's the godfather? Who really discovered our endocannabinoid system and the receptors and named the receptors? Does anybody know where he's from?
I have an idea, but I'm going to let them.
It's from Israel. From Israel. Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, Raphael Mechoulam. He's from Israel, and he put his little country on the map with research for marijuana and hemp, cannabinoids. He said all these countries had these great things that they did research on, and he just had to stand out from them, and he chose marijuana. And thank goodness he did, because look what he's done. He discovered the entire endocannabinoid system in our body. So this was in 1992, right? And it has been said that the discovery of the endocannabinoid system in 1992 may be one of the single biggest discoveries in medicine in the last century.
Wow. Did he win a Nobel for that?
He did win a Nobel for this. And it's not only in humans, it's in animals, cats, dogs, horses, pigs. They all have an endocannabinoid system we've discovered. You can use your CBD oil on your cats and your dogs as well for anxiety. But he discovered, all right, so the first cannabinoid that he discovered, he named it anandamide. So ananda means bliss in Sanskrit.
Oh, really?
Right? Means bliss. Anandamide. Right? Because this cannabinoid is what they discovered is released when you're meditating, when you're running, that runner's high, when you're having sex. It's also, or after you've had sex. It's also found, I wouldn't know that, but for a while. But anyway, it's also found in chocolate. I do know about that. I do know. Woo, wait. Anandamide. And then the other endocannabinoid we found is called 2-AG. I can't pronounce the big word. It's released when a mom is breastfeeding her babe, from mom to babe. You've seen those babies just fall off, the breasts just pop off, and they're just like in a state of bliss. Because of the 2-AG endocannabinoid.
Wow.
Right? So it's released when breastfeeding as well as the runner's high. I ran for years. I hate it. I never got a runner's high. I never released anandamide or 2-AG running. I hated every bit of it. Man. Oh, my Lord. Okay. The endocannabinoid system, people, is the master control system in our body, right? It's the one that regulates homeostasis. It keeps us level while helping prevent disease and aging. So when our endocannabinoid system is out of balance over here, that's when the disease process start to kick in, right? And the rapid aging and the breakdown of our body in general. So it's got to be put back into balance.
It has to. I mean, the regulation between your immune system and your nervous system would have to. In endocannabinoids, I've read that how it's one of the best resources to help with antioxidant formation.
It is.
To like keep your cells from aging and from dying off. It's one of the highest, actually.
It's used, I was listening to this guy talk today. I can't remember who it is. We need this now as prevention. Prevention for our brain, for crying out loud. Those of us who have family members with dementia and Alzheimer's disease, what are we, nuts? You need to be taking your CBD oil every single day. And that's what he was saying. You use it as prevention. Get your body back into homeostasis. Dr. Mechoulam said he defines the endocannabinoid system, or ECS, as the supercomputer that regulates homeostasis in the human body. When it's imbalanced due to life stressors, bad food, toxins, etc. It's believed that this is when many disease processes begin.
So she's saying that, remember all the things we talked about before about like nitric oxide or MTHFR, we're talking about Krebs energy cycle. What she's saying is with CBD, it helps regulate the connection between all of them, where they all start to work together. So instead of detoxing is now working with energy production. Energy production is now working with a proper vitamin B breakdown. So everything starts to be congruent. It's almost like putting oil in your engine. Everything just starts to...
I'll put some oil in my engine. Woo, almost dropped
smooth.
it. That's like liquid gold. Don't dare drop that. That stuff's expensive. Okay, so a few practical notes about CBD oil, right? And people have been asking this right now. Oh, well, wait. CBD also, I've got a million notes, people. I've got stuff everywhere. It activates the serotonin receptors in our body, right? It gives the potential for antidepressant properties as well. Yeah. Dr. David Brady, this is why I have another paper here, because he had written an article on CBD and anxiety and fibromyalgia. Anybody who knows David Brady, he wrote the Fibro Fix, and he specializes in fibromyalgia, but he says CBD oil decreases anxiety, depression, and pain in his fibromyalgia patients, and he uses it every day with them. And I watch the pain go down in patients. They tell me every day. Well, and me as well.
Yeah. Fibromyalgia patients, like especially 20 drops 3 times a day, they're just like, oh.
And so that's what we're getting into. People were just asking about that. How often do you use it? CBD has a 9-hour half-life. I learned that recently. I didn't know that. So it is to be dosed at least twice a day, at least morning and bedtime. 3 times a day, sure. Why not, right? So the rule is start low and go slow. I mean, you do that with anything. Don't start off with a full dropper of a 500 milligram, bottle of CBD. Otherwise, you could get a little anxious,
Because
so start slow. That's exactly right, because it's going to upregulate everything in there. And we want it to upregulate glutathione. It helps with glutathione production. Did you know that?
I've heard that, but
I learned that today.
As much as like it upregulates. So if you take it, it's almost, let's say it like this. If you had really bad vision and you put on a pair of glasses and saw everything super clear for the first time and it's sensory overload, that's what happens if you start off with a high amount of CBD. Your body is starting to take all these good vitamins and minerals, starts to make it work. Liver starts detoxing better. Your body starts creating more energy. And what does it do? It kind of shocks the system if you go too fast. So start slow. Let your body get used to it. And they were saying that your body has to recognize the cannabinoids that are floating in your blood. So as you build slowly, more build in your blood. So don't go crazy on that.
That's correct. High doses can overwhelm the CB1 receptors in the brain and increase spaciness and anxiety, right? Again, there's no receptors in the respiratory and in the brainstem. So that's great. Has a positive interaction with the limbic system for stress, anxiety, fear, emotions, right? Wow, yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. I'm going to tell you something, people. I have used a lot of things with my patients the last 9 years, thousands of patients like you. There's never been one product, one thing, God made or pharmaceutical, that I have used with my patients that has helped at least 99.9% of every patient. And I say that with the honest to God truth. I have never in my life, and I sit in a room all day, every day with patients, so I don't see the people who come into the supplement store, to buy. I'm not out there selling supplements and all that. That's the girls. They listen to story after story after story every single day of people coming in saying how it changed their lives, and they were buying some for their mother or their son or their husband or what have you. I am so irritated that, number one, I was not taught about this at Vanderbilt. Very irritated about that. And number two, that I didn't believe my patients. It's not that I didn't believe them. I kind of poo-pooed it 2, 3, 4 years ago when people were telling me they were using CBD. And I was like, what? I've never smoked pot. I don't understand. I was so confused, like so many other people are. I had no idea the actual benefits of it and how our body craves cannabinoids.
They do.
And when your endocannabinoid system is out of balance, you are going to have to put it in with the phytocannabinoids. Right?
Do you remember back in the day, that how mainstream and I guess the government had made it look like a bad thing? Because I remember when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the old basketball player, had got caught with it, and he said I was doing it for medical purposes. And everybody half the people would say, oh, no, he didn't do it for that. And the other half was like, no, it really is works. And I remember hearing that, and I thought he just wanted to get high. But
you're not getting high.
You're not getting high. Then I read like some reports like about 6 months later, and I was like, there's something to that.
Yeah, there is. It's really something. But we're going to talk about what you have to look for in it. But on the dosing, as a rule, start with like 2 to 4 milligrams a day of CBD. So what we have in the office currently is 500 milligrams. Okay. 500. Now we're getting ready. They're making us 1,000 milligram as well that's coming in.
Wow.
Now 1,000 milligrams obviously more expensive, but that's 500 milligrams per bottle right there. So half a milliliter is going to be 2 milligrams of CBDA and additional cannabinoids, 1 milligram, and then 7 milligrams of CBD, actually. So this is high powered. So you can go, you can do a little bit less than half a milliliter, like 0.25 milliliters. You want to start slow, but you got to play around with it. There's no specific dosing. This is not like 325 milligram aspirin or a Tylenol or take 100 milligrams of this. There's no guidelines right now. This is almost like the wild, wild west out there for cannabinoids.
Yes.
I mean, it really is.
It really is.
So people are just making it up, but you're not going to overdose. Start slow. If you don't feel any difference or you don't feel better, then my challenge to you is you haven't used enough, because I'm going to tell you, right?
You'll feel
just bump it up. Yeah,
and I always say, like, when a patient, they say that like a specific joint in your body or a specific area, no pun included, but if you have a certain area in the body that has a pain in it, if you take it and you say, well, no change, then I say, well, do another 2 drops or 3 drops. And keep adding until you start to feel it. And then you'll start to get to where you get that edge. And so just keep on keeping on. Don't put a whole dropper full in your mouth. I'm just going to let you know that, because you'll feel too relaxed and sometimes get a little anxious, right? So yeah,
I never got anxious from it, but I was really relaxed. So there's a bunch of different delivery methods of CBD, right?
Yep.
There's vaping, and I don't know anything about vaping, but vaping, they say, what I learned today was that if you have lung cancer, vaping would be the way to go. Yeah. But also vaping can also damage the lungs, something called popcorn lungs. I don't even know what popcorn lungs are. What is that?
On a view, there's like if you affect the alveoli and stuff, like they start to
looks like popcorn. So you have to be careful, but vaping would get it into the lungs quickly. And then of course there's capsules. The capsules have to go through the digestive tract, right? So you're going to lose some of it there. There's topical, which I just did. This is an oral one, but you can also use it topically. We actually have they're making us a salve, or Sglorias, for the office.
Oh, wow.
To use topically. There are CBD patches to put right on whatever hurts.
Oh, I didn't know that.
CBD patches. And then, of course, the liquids, right? The tinctures, okay? So I prefer that because it's under the tongue. It goes sublingual, and it goes, boom, right through the bloodstream. Within a matter of minutes.
Right into your blood.
Within a matter of minutes. That's exactly right. So again, we want to talk about full spectrum CBD. Okay. You want to use full spectrum. You don't want to use, let's see, where did I put? Let's talk about, do you know about full spectrum versus just straight up one constituent? No, you don't. I'll tell you about it. I know about it.
I do know that they have full spectrums. Like now they're having certain CBD oils that have more spectrum, as they're affecting more receptor sites.
Yes. And so ours is full spectrum. You want a full spectrum. So when you are looking for a CBD oil, you want in my opinion, you want an organic oil, right? Ours only uses ladybugs for their pesticide, right?
Wow, that's
so there's
awesome.
No pesticide whatsoever, because you're ingesting that. You don't want Roundup in your CBD oil. It's bad enough we got it in our vaginas with tampons and pads and all of that. I couldn't get through it without one day without saying vagina. So you certainly don't want it in your CBD oil. All right. You want organic. You want full spectrum. Okay. All of the constituents. All right. All of it. The leaves, the buds, the stems, the stalks. full spectrum, not just one piece of the plant.
Gotcha.
Okay. Full spectrum, the whole plant for the best benefits. All right. You want CO2 critically extracted. Okay.
Yeah,
so now I'm not a chemist, so I have to read about this. So the one that we use, it is supercritical CO2 extracted. So which is a naturally occurring compound, right? CO2 is. It acts like a solvent in its supercritical state, yet it does not pose any of the risks associated with other solvents. Apparently they use things like benzene and I don't know, other things to make, right? Excuse me. Earth's Glory is actually even then further refined using a unique winterization method to improve the quality prior to mixing it into the final formula. So what winterization does is it involves the removal of the unwanted waxes and things from the leaves and wax. It removes the unwanted waxes and lipids from the CO2 extract. So it takes it one step further, refining it, make it even purer, right? It brings CO2 into the vessel of the plant. Supercritical CO2 brings CO2 into the vessel of the plant for superior quality. It floods the plant cells of the hemp flower to be able to extract the CBD. This allows the temperature to stay very low when they're extracting it, which helps protect the plant. That's a very big deal. Your CBD will say on the bottle, if y'all are looking, if it is CO2 critically extracted. It's pretty fascinating.
That makes sense though, because we use oxygen like they use CO2, so their metabolism gets rolling whenever you put high amounts of CO2 in there. That makes sense.
You want your CO2, you want your CBD to be organic. You want it full spectrum. You want it to be super CO2 critically extracted. You definitely want to know that they have a certificate for third-party testing. In fact, they third-party test theirs twice. It goes out the first time, and then it goes out the second time once with the final product. Third-party testing is conducted on their extract after the first formula is done. Therefore, they have, they verify that the quality is pure and potent. Exactly. So I was listening to these webinars today, and I guess it was 2017, maybe it was the FDA who did a tremendous amount of, they bought a lot of CBD, they tested it, and I mean, it is horrible. It is all over the board. People not even getting what's in the bottle. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes it's not even it's not even up to 0.3%. Yeah, you have to be very, very careful, because I'm going to tell you, CBD is a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
And so everybody and their brother and their mother-in-law is putting out a CBD oil, and you've got to make sure it comes from organic, full spectrum. There's a big, big, big difference in hemp seed extract. So look at your bottles. Hemp seed extract is not at all CBD oil. No, not at all. It's hemp seed extract.
I didn't know that a while back until somebody had to point that out to me. Buddy in Austin told me that. Real quick, they said on the question, they said that something about diacetyl. That was really interesting. He said diacetyl was a flavoring agent that they put in the vape, and that caused the popcorn lump.
Is that it? I didn't know that. Thank you. Who said that? I can't see.
Jen?
I guess I should put my new reading glasses on. I had to pay a fortune. Oh, look at that. I can see it. All right, Jen, thank you. I didn't know that. So talking more about the whole plant, what you're wanting a full spectrum CBD. Here was some research that was done in 2015, and what they did says one of the most important studies that's been done so far on CBD and full spectrum was done in Jerusalem, right? And it compared the performance of a full spectrum extract to one that contained just CBD only. The study concluded that full spectrum was more effective when fighting pain and inflammation than just CBD.
Wow.
One, right? So you want it organic, you want it full spectrum. You want it to be CO2 critically extracted. You want it third-party tested, all right? You want it from a reputable company. And those are hard to find. I mean, Charlotte's Web's a great one. I use Earth's Glory because I know them. Earth's Glory is all organic. It goes from the farmer Brandon to the Marie, the distiller at the university, to Dani Williamson. I mean, it's just a triangle right there.
Yeah.
So you have to be real careful with that. And you want to make sure it is full spectrum CBD oil, not hemp extract,
Gotcha.
hemp seed extract.
Not hemp seed extract.
I mean, hemp seeds you can put on your cereal, you can put in your smoothie. I mean,
That's exactly that.
Exactly. You're not going to get any high or any benefits from, I mean, they're not going to hurt you, but it's not CBD oil. It's not full spectrum.
And many
CBD
people
oil.
have come in the office, have they, with you and said, like, I've tried hemp oil, and I'm like,
Yep.
no, that's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
I have people, when I teach that class on CBD, I have people bring their CBD in, and a lot of it is hemp oil. It's just hemp seed extract. I'm like, well, this is not at all CBD, but they paid a bloody fortune for it online.
Yeah. People still try to make money off of it.
So what else is in here? You know, what else is in your CBD oil? What other nutrients does it have in it? It's fascinating. Vitamins and minerals, right? It is loaded, full spectrum CBD, not hemp seed extract. It's got tons of vitamin A, C, and E, along with the full B complex of vitamins. I didn't know that, such as niacin, riboflavin, and thiamine, right? Mm-hmm. An increased number of people don't consume enough beta carotene, right? But it is abundant in full spectrum CBD. I didn't know that. Crucial minerals contained in this oil include zinc, potassium, iron, calcium, and phosphorus. Think about that.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Phosphorus. Those of you who drink Cokes, right? They leach phosphorus out of the bones like crazy. Yes. So they say that, you know, CBD helps strengthen bones as well.
And they also, I mean, if you have vitamin A, guys, C and E, then you know you're going to help with cellular metabolism, help the cell wall and electron transport systems, which means higher energy, better immune. And you got zinc, so you're going to help your insulin levels. And you got potassium, it's going to help with the sodium potassium pump. That's adrenal health right there.
Yeah, and zinc's going to help heal the gut lining as well. So it's going to help with GI issues, right? So it's loaded with essential fats and proteins as well. Mm-hmm. So I was writing, I said, well, yeah, as if all of this wasn't enough, full spectrum CBD oil contains up to 20 amino acids, including 9 essential ones. Wow. Essential fatty acids such as omega-3 and omega-6, which help promote better heart health, included in the perfect God-given 3-to-1 ratio already.
Mm. And amino acids are building blocks.
They're the building blocks, right? So, I mean, the question is, what the heck? What is CBD oil? What can it not help? I mean, it helps decreases seizures, anti-nausea, anxiety, depression, improves insomnia, chronic pain relief, improves insulin resistance and diabetes. There's a lot of studies on decreasing blood sugar levels with CBD oil.
And I've seen that like happenstance on the second hand with patients. They've literally, their blood sugars dropped after taking it. And that wasn't even why they started using it.
Isn't that something?
Just for pain.
Decreases inflammation, promotes recovery after a heart attack, right? Because you've got those CBD receptors, helps with migraines, improves fibromyalgia, autoimmune disease, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis.
Oh, wow.
It's used in AIDS patients, and there's AIDS studies going on right now with CBD. Cancer patients, big cancer studies going on right now. Glaucoma. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
You can't lose.
You can't lose. I mean, it's really something.
You can't really lose with it.
I mean, it's like, good Lord, you could stop so many supplements and just use your CBD oil.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple other things, maybe a little bit of D. I mean, you know, there's a few things, but I'm fascinated, and it's not cheap. So this bottle, 500 milligrams, is $89 that we have in the office, and we use this one. I think it's a good price. It's a fair price. You certainly don't make hardly. You guys sell a lot of CBD oil to make money on, or at least we do. I don't know how much it costs them to make it, but you know, we don't mark it up like it's supposed to be marked up. But a good CBD oil is going to cost you money.
It will. And it's worth it though, guys, because we are working against redundancy. If we gave somebody like vitamin A, B, C, D, all these things, and the body can be tested to where it's like, I'll take just one thing instead of 5 things. I mean, $89. I mean, you'd spend well over $100 or something if you took all the other ones.
And that bottle, if you use it the way it says, will last you for 2 months. So it's, $50 a bottle, a little bit less. I mean, $50 a month. I'm sorry, a little bit less. I wanted to read this quote to you from Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison, 1902. 1902.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet then. There were never so many able, active minds at work on the problems of disease as there are now. And all their discoveries are tending toward the simple truth that you can't improve on nature.
You can't. No.
Right?
Keep it simple.
God gave us everything we need in the plants.
Yeah.
He did.
It's
You can't improve on nature. Thomas Edison, 1902. What?
Wow.
Yeah, they know. Talking about your pets. If you've got an anxious cat or an anxious dog or an old dog like Harlan over here, who is apparently on his last legs, he's going to be 10 in September. Oh, listen to him. Good Lord. He's going to be 10 in September. He's going to be 10 in September, and he's kind of on the downhill slide. I think he's having some heart issues. He goes to the vet tomorrow, but he's not anxious about anything. He's an English bulldog. He's not anxious, but it works amazing on anxiousness on a dog and cancer on dogs, like tumors and cats and on horses, putting it actually on it. Speaking of cancer, I was listening today to another webinar talking about the doctor on there had skin cancer. Mm-hmm. He had 3 skin cancers. He had 1 cut off, 2 he put CBD on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Went away. The one that cut off came back.
Wow.
The ones that he put CBD oil did not. So the second time when the one that he cut off came back, he used CBD oil on it, put a Band-Aid on it, what have you, and kept doing that. And it completely went away. And the dermatologist, sometimes I'd rather go to my vet than, anyway, don't say that. The dermatologist said, "What'd you do?" And he said, I use CBD oil on it. Of course, you can't use that. Oh my gosh, that's, yeah.
That's hair. Like we had, one of our mutual friends has a dog that she told me that would lick the surfaces and get anxiety all the time. And started giving the dog CBD oil, like almost 20 drops a couple of times a day. And that dog just calmed right down.
Isn't that amazing?
And it's just like, and I know the dog is like, he's pretty anxious, but it's pretty cool.
Autism. There's been a lot of studies and ongoing studies right now with autism and CBD oil. Mm-hmm. And it helps really calm down the excitatory, right?
Yeah.
Receptors.
And the receptors. And they even say that, like, because receptor sites will get gunk all over them. So you have these little key slots, and you'll get metals from vaccinations, you'll get plastics, you can get infections that create a lot of toxicity, that mold that get around these receptor sites. And CBD is very good at going in and working as a cleanup crew. It activates the immune and helps basically mop up, sweep up, get the keyholes opened up so all the other enzymes in your body can actually come in and fit in the key slots, get your cell working well. I mean, basically it's a universal solvent basically in the body. So,
right.
Yeah.
Who's it not good for? Is it bad for any people? Well, we don't really know this answer. So, again, it's like the Wild West out there. I've never had anybody hurt from it. How young can you use it? I get that question asked a lot. We don't really know. Now, their little brains are still developing. So, I wouldn't give it to little kids, although I don't know. Maybe it's totally safe. I don't know that. I've got some grade schoolers who are using that for ADHD, and the neuroimmune cream that we use with all the B vitamins. Yeah. That combo with neuro cream and CBD oil has really helped with ADHD in several of my patients. But I'm not sure, like adults, I don't know of anyone for sure that shouldn't use it. Do you know of anybody do you know of any certain?
The only things
that start slow.
I've tested different brands on different individuals, and I mean it really does go by the individual's biochemistry. Like you'll have one brand that works really well for one. I think that if it doesn't quote test well, then it may be that their body's not ready to uptake more B vitamins or C vitamins to detox quickly. So maybe there's something with different brands that maybe one's not as potent or not as potent or more potent. So it does. I haven't had anybody that just, let's say, overreacts to it.
Right.
I mean, there's sometimes I've seen it and I'm like, you may want to wait a little bit before you start. But I don't want anybody to be discouraged. Like, well, I took it once and it didn't work. I'm like, then you got to kind of look at different brands and different type of dosages.
Yeah, and maybe you need to ramp it up a little bit. I think there are great brands out there. I use just exclusively Earth's Glory in my office. What they sell on the internet is half the dose of what we have. So they sell a very low dose, 250 milligram ones. Only in provider's office, they go 500 milligrams, and now we're getting 1,000 milligram. I love this because I know the farmer, I know the distiller, the extractor, and I know my rep. I mean, it's just it. And I wanted to keep it simple because I didn't know. Heck, I don't know. You know, they could easily walk into integrated family medicine, shut us down too. I mean, you know, like they did in
You're too
Rutherford.
sweet and too kind.
Oh, Allie will come get me out of my room. It'll be all heck will be breaking loose out there. But so there are good companies out there, and yes, Charlotte's Web is a good company. They are.
Yeah.
I think their price point's good at Earth's Glory. I think there's multiple ones. You just have to make sure. You want to make sure it's organic. It's full spectrum. It is CO2 critically extracted, right? It's third party tested, and it is all the CBD, all of the full spectrum there. You want to make sure of that. So, you know, I have our third party testing in the office. I've got the whole paper there. Every time they run through the batches, I get the new paper of their third party testing. So that's a huge deal.
Like if they have,
so we know what we're getting.
Exactly.
If you're going to pay that much money, you don't want to get junk.
No. And I will say that I'm very careful. Like when we have somebody that's a good company and it's reputable, like a lot of times now I'm starting to see like a whole bunch of different companies that like kind of pop up. And I will say the efficacy on some of them are just not as well as ones that have been tested really well. So just be mindful and really just try to find out who you're buying it from and where their sources are.
And if you guys are in Franklin, I do ever so often, about once a month, I do a CBD oil workshop in just a lunch and learn. It's free. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. And it's a lot of fun. And I always learn stuff in there because there's always young people in there who know way more than I do about cannabinoids and marijuana and hemp and the whole thing. I learned all about high quality stuff one time in there from a girl. But this was a quote that was said that I just wanted to kind of end my part on here. The endocannabinoid system is responsible for regulating balance in our body's immune response, communication between cells, appetite and metabolism, memory, and so much more. Cannabinoids, when researched properly, can really revolutionize medicine right now. Yeah. I mean, I believe that. And we are on the precipice of something huge, people, something really huge. If the government will stay out of it, then there is no telling what in the world is going to happen here. And we could be curing people of cancer. We already are. I mean, there already are people out there doing this that have been run out of the country in Canada and everywhere else. But if the government will stay out of it and let it just keep it simple and clean and not a lot involved here, I mean, we are going to see the tide shift.
Yeah. And I say
we really are.
All about
and it's not hallucinogenic. It's not, you're not going to have a high from it. It just simply brings your body back into homeostasis. And who doesn't want that, right?
Yeah. It's communication
That's all
between
we
cells.
can ask for.
Yep.
You have to heal. There's not enough CBD oil in the world to fix a bad diet, right? You can't drink enough to fix a bad diet. You have to heal the gut. You have to decrease stress. You have to poop well and move your body and all of those things, right? But if you can take one thing to help bring your body back into balance to where it's meant to be, I don't know why you wouldn't.
No.
At least try it.
No, if you can communicate, cells work off vibration and chemical signals. And what you need for those things to do is to vibrate with each other and to bump up on one and create amounts of amplification. And
vibrate with each other and bump up on one. Dude, where are you? I'm all about that. Give me some of that.
So we have Earth's Glory.
That's it. We got Earth's Glory. But there's some research that showed, that when you use your CBD, even if you add it with an extra fish oil, any fish oil, a good fish oil, one that's not loaded with mercury and all kinds of heavy metals and all, they work synergistically together, right? Even though this has got omega, tons of great omegas in it, when you add in extra omegas, yes, so you're seeing more neuroprotective neuroprotective benefits, things like with the Parkinson's disease and the Alzheimer's and
MS.
the seizure disorders and
goodness.
MS. Yes. Yeah. MS and CBD. I mean, it's fascinating.
It's good
with
stuff.
that.
You gotta
So,
watch it.
Well, I love you guys. This is a lot of information. If you have any questions, I'll share the Earth's Glory information up there. We'll talk. But I love you guys. I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to be in New York City at a conference.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I didn't know.
I know. I forgot. I haven't told you. And then the next week I'm going to be in Indonesia.
She's so happy. Aww.
He was supposed to go with me, but he bowed out on me. And so I'm going by myself to Indonesia and Australia for 2 weeks. Taking a 2-week trip alone. It's my little eat, pray, love now that you're not there. I don't know. I'm going to eat and I'm going to pray. I don't know how much loving's going to be going on. But I'm going to be in Bali for a week.
She's going to take a lot of pictures, a lot of videos.
I'm going to be videoing from over there. I'm going to be in Bali for a week in Ubud. I'm going to be studying some herbal medicine. I'm meeting up with a shaman. I got that set up.
Wow.
I'm going to be going to Australia and I'm going to see Trudy Scott over there and we're going to meet up at the Anti-Anxiety Food Solution. So I'm going to have 1 week in Bali and 1 week in Sydney, Australia. And that's just me by myself going. So it's going to be 2 weeks of just Dani.
Oh, Dani.
Yes, I need a break. I need a vacation. But I
okay.
can't take my CBD. Did you know that? I had a patient this week from Australia and she said, don't you dare take it. Those sniffing dogs will sniff it out and your bag will be in a million pieces. And because she said her dad would give anything. It's illegal in Australia, she told me.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So her dad would give it. I said, I'll take it to your dad. And she said, no, you won't. You won't get it out of the airport with it. So anyway, I can't take my CBD. And but we'll be back in a couple weeks. How about that?
We're back a couple weeks. We'll be back.
Okay. All right, guys. We love you. Have
Love
a wonderful night and have a great week. And if you've got your CBD and you haven't been using it, use it. All right. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Nothing.
It works.
See you guys.
Okay?
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.